How did you become so focused on nature constellations? What is it about the nature constellations work that really draws you in?
I think that it really is a part of indigenous perspective that you cannot be separate from nature. That it is it's a construct that really we in our modernity we have adopted that construct to our peril. It really is it's a fiction in a way. It's a story that we're separate, that we're over, that we have dominion, um, rather than having the privilege to walk on the earth. And so for me, I think that a lot of it is just conditioning, um, that we see that um, your cat is a part of this, alive and right behind you. And so all of these things are really a part of us and aware of us and interfacing with us. And when we talk about um, being able to restore these connections that are so vital for people, much of what I see such a hope for in systems constellation is being able to include nature. And it has so many applications. It has so many inferences. Um, it really, it's just um, beyond impactful. And so I think particularly now, when we see how quickly the earth restores when humans are not interfacing with it very frequently, um, to again try to write our perspective, and that's part of what nature constellation training, I hope, usually does. It helps people to really see what is the right order. And there are lots of different, very specific constellations and specific exercises, a really beautiful body of work that has developed now over years that I think is not really isolated from family constellation. I think that it can be a supplement to or a part of. It's applicable and helpful for teachers and for facilitators and psychotherapists and environmental engineers and architects, and just there's really no limit to the careers or the backgrounds of people who could really be supported and expanded in their resources if they had uh, a really sound um, sense of what could be involved and some structures that could support them in being able to facilitate or um, benefit from, participate in nature constellations.
Fran, how would you define a nature constellation? What is a nature constellation?
So I think that there, in some languages and some countries, nature constellation really encompasses it. There's peace and satisfaction just with using the term nature constellation. In some countries where there are a lot of, or with some participants where there is a lot of interest in environmental issues, or questions having to do with for instance, the politics of environmental conflicts. Then there are times that we actually use the phrase environmental constellations and nature constellations. In my sense, they really are under one umbrella. So there's a real a real scope, a real expanse of what nature constellations can be. One of the things that they can be is they can be a constellation that really helps you to be able to experience your um, interface with nature. They can help you be able, in an experiential way, to understand what does the tree feel, or what does nature have to say. So there's this beautiful element where, as we see within family systems, there's the opportunity for those different aspects of nature to be articulate, to be verbal, and to be verbalized. And it's, as with all constellations, one of the things uh, my best description, I guess, is that constellation work has this elegant efficiency. So if I'm standing in a constellation and I'm representing an aspect of nature to inform a business or to inform a landowner, it can very well be that that particular element in nature really, at the same time, in a very deep way, has something to give me as a representative. So, as with all constellations, you have this beautiful multi-level possibility in a nature constellation, that I'm serving a larger question when I stand as a representative, but there's this reciprocity, and it's very often that nature will give me a gift at the same time. Um, Nature constellations can be used for NGOs. So those different organizations that are working with communities um, around agricultural issues, this is a very pragmatic tool to be able to help them sort of uh, decipher what is it that will really serve the land, the people, the community. How do I allow nature to speak to the city council? How do I facilitate that conversation? So there's such a huge scope that nature constellation, the applications really allow the definition to be quite expansive, really expansive. Yeah.